Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Racing Previews and Reviews with me, Mark Fanning. We've got a big one here this weekend. It is the pinnacle for 3-year-olds, for flat racing, for your fillies, for your colts. It's the Derby. It's on Saturday, but before all that, we've got the Oaks on Friday. It's the fillies' day, time to shine. As I said, we've got 2 fantastic days of racing coming up here. I look forward to these 2 days of racing more than. It's just banging my top 5 here, if not top 2. It's a great weekend of racing. And if you breed horses, these are one of the 2 of the races you want to win, whether you have a filly in the Oaks or colt in the Derby. But let's start with Friday's action. I'm just going to preview Fridays in this video. I'm going to come back tomorrow and preview the Derby. And the first of 7 races gets underway at 2 o'clock. With the feature, the Cazoo Oaks, off at 4:30. But before the feature, let's kick it off with the first race on the card. It's the only 2-year-old race over of the 2-day festival. It's the Woodcote. Won a few years ago by Pinatubo. There was 10 runners lined up here, including 3 winners. But for me, Ralph Beckett's Keep Bidding, she gets my vote here. This filly by Ribchester had a lovely introduction, finishing second in a Nottingham maiden over 5. Stepping up to 6, I think, will be very, very helpful. She had a bit of a messy start, but when she put it together, she ran on well, and she was definitely the eye catcher on the day. She's beaten 2.5 lengths. I wouldn't worry about that. Ralph is an absolute maestro with these ladies, and this could be another one to put the yard back into the big picture. I'd like to see her go here and do a job well. She is about 7-2 at the minute. She's drawn in stall 4. That'll be a help. And I think stepping up, I said, to the 6 will definitely be an advantage. So for me, she just needs to improve off that first run. Of course, she's in off a lovely weight, being a filly, and not having a win on her card. So, yeah, she's the one here for me. Keep Bidding in the very first race to get us underway. The second race then is a mile handicap. It's for 4-year-olds. Plus, we've got 16 runners going to post here. I like one down the bottom of the weights here. Fireworks for the On Fire trainer, William Haggis. In the hands of Tom Marquand. A very lightly raced son of Kingman. And it would be a very poignant winner for the yard, as William's wife, Maureen, is the daughter of the late, great Lester Pilgett. So it'll be definitely to be a very poignant winner, as I was saying, for the yard and for any race over the 2-day festival. Lester, of course, we'll talk about him as the Derby comes a bit closer, but an absolute genius. But made EPSOM his own. So for William to have a winner here, I think would be a very a feather in his cap for the weekend. He's drawn in stall 3, and I can see him going very, very close. Very lightly raced, and Boyle Sports are playing 5 places in the race. It's about 9-10 to 1 at the minute, so expect him to be hopefully in the first 5. The way Williams' horses are running this season in the last few weeks, I think he's operating at a 46% strike rate. It's either 43 or 46 for a yard that has as many runners as he has. It's an absolute phenomenal stat. So I'd imagine he's not going to run one here without a chance. The third race then is the first of the Group 1s and the only domestic Group 1 of the 2 day, over the 2 days. It's the Coronation Cup. It's over a mile and a half. We've got 6 runners lined up here. The favourite is the William Muir trained pile driver. He's last year's winner. He's going to take all the beating here. He's short. He's 7-4. There's a few questions over this horse since we last seen him run. I think he's picked up a nickel or 2, but he's very good in his day. Frankie Dettori comes in for the ride, of course, where Martin Dwyer is out injured at the minute, but he'll be itching to get back into the saddle to ride this flag bearer for the yard, pile driver. But for me, I'm going to take him on with the Boyle Sports offer, finishing second, getting your money back as a free bet with Boyle Sports offer that kicks in on all the races over the 2 days. I'm going to go with the Aidan O'Brien trained High Definition. He's been a bit disappointing. This horse was a favourite for the Irish Derby last year, and he has put in a couple of disappointing performances, but this year he's been super consistent, and we last seen him finish second in the Group 1 Gold Cup at Curragh a couple of weeks ago, behind William Haggis's Alan Cure. And I think he could spring a surprise here, and a not so strong renewal of the race, if I'm going to be utterly honest. That offer is going to take effect here. So for me, at 4-1 with a Boyle Sports offer finishing second, money back is a free bet. I think it could be a decent little bet here, high definition. That brings us to the fourth race. It is a mile 2 handicap. We've got 14 runners lined up here, and I'm going to go with Ralph Beckett's Victory Chime, a 7-year-old, but sometimes age doesn't really matter. He's ran over the course and distance 3 times, and those form figures read 2 wins and a second. Horses for courses, EPSOM is definitely one of those tracks, and for me, yeah, 4 places Boyle Sports are playing in the race. Yeah, he's going to get my vote here each way. Victory Chime in the 4th race, and that brings us to the feature race of the Derby Festival. It is for the ladies, the Cazoo Oaks. It's for fillies. It's over a mile and a half. 11 classic runners here. John and Teddy Gosden team up for the first 2 in the betting with the unbeaten 3 from 3 Emily Upjohn, 5-4 favourite. And deservingly so, after turning the Group 3 Musadora Stakes into an absolute procession at York when we last seen her. She absolutely obliterated him by 5.5 lengths. 5-4, it's short for me though in a classic. I'm going to take her on each way. I'm going to go with Aidan O'Brien's Tuesday. 3rd in the 1,000 guineas at Newmarket before finishing 2nd in the Irish equivalent. It's strong classic Group 1 form. For me, that gets the nod here each way. Aidan has a super impressive strike rate in this race. Ryan Moore's right now to his skin. He had a choice. So for me, Tuesday at 9-1 is definitely a good each way bet. And other one I think is definitely worth a $5 each way is Thoughts of June. She could run very, very well, this lady by Galileo, in the very famous colours of Mydlair Stud. She was 2nd in the maiden in Cork, and she was beaten 2.25 lengths or 2.5 lengths by Flatten the Curve, I think is her name. Donncha O'Brien or Joseph O'Brien's filly. She then went and turned that form around. Now, I think it was one of the rides of the Chester Festival by Ryan Moore, and he was like a man possessed in that meeting. He's back to what I think is the eye of the tiger form with Ryan at the minute. He's just on song. But she battled that day, and I liked it because the second filly she could have went on. I thought. I know some people said that she might have been left a little bit due, but I think she was there enough in time to go by her. And I think this lady, she battled. And of course, the form is franked by the runner-up, Joseph's horse, going to France and win the Group 1. Again, Ryan Moore took over. And so that's for me, I think she's definitely one that I wouldn't rule out for a $5 each way. That's the 5 races, the first 5 races I'm going to preview on Oaks Day. I'm going to come back and do a very in-depth preview for the Derby. I'm going to be back tomorrow to do that, and I'm looking forward to that. We've got some big price selections in the mix for Derby Day, and I can't wait to get myself into the feature race. I think there's a couple of cracking each way players in the race, and it looks to be a cracking renewal this year. But before all that, let's get day 1 out of the way. Let's get the Oaks out of the way. Hopefully we bang in a few winners. And I will talk to you again very soon. Again, guys, hit the like, hit the share button. Appreciate it. And I'll talk to you again very soon. Cheers, guys.